Hey YouTube, welcome back to the channel. I'm your host Murray. Today, I know what you're thinking. This Jeep's back in the shop again. Well, we're getting ready to do a little off-road event this weekend, so I figured I'd bring it in and show you guys and gals on what I do before I get ready to go wheeling. So sit back, grab yourself something to eat and a beverage, and we'll get into this. So what's the first thing we're going to do? Well, this Jeep is getting close to a service. We're about 900 clicks away. And usually on my four-drive vehicles, I like to rotate the tire. So before we lift it up, we'll get two birds hit with the same rock. We're going to rotate the tires at the same time. So today it's kind of raining out, so I can't run my air compressor outside. So I got the old Manuel system, the old strong arm and the 19 mil socket. And let's just break these lug nuts loose. It's better to do this first while the vehicle's on the ground. Like say if you're on the side of the road and you're going to change a flat tire or something, you do the same thing. You want the weight of the vehicle on there so you can do this. Guaranteed they're tight. Yep. Oh, yep, that's tight. There. I think I got them all. Yes. So you don't want to loosen them so like the wheel's going to fall right off. You just want to get that snap out of them because you torqued them to 100 foot-pounds at least. So you got to have the weight of the vehicle down, remember, YouTube. So that way you can snap your lug nuts loose. So I'll move around the vehicle. We'll break everything else loose and I'll bring you back and I'll show you what the next step is. All right, YouTube, so the next thing we're going to do, we're going to have our jack stands and my jack. What we're going to do now is we're going to lift the vehicle up and get her sitting on jack stands. You want to try to get this sort of in the middle of the diff. Better more. Let me bring you guys and gals in there for a little closer look so you can see what I'm doing. Okay, YouTube, you see my pumpkin right here. So what I want to do is get this part of the jack just in behind here onto the axle tube. I'll get this set in place and I'll get right over and show you what I mean. So we're going to try to get this lifted up so that way we can get both axle stands underneath there at the same time. Will it work? Probably not. Oh, she's starting to pick up. There we go. And we just want to get it so the wheels are off the ground. Okay. So as you can see, she's not on there by much. But we'll get it where we can get it. But both wheels, that one's off. And you can see daylight under that one. Let's get the axle stands in here. And don't worry, YouTube. These axle stands didn't come from Harbor Freight. They came from Napa. They're on sale, I think. So now what we want to do is we want to let her down We just want to make sure that we're just going nice and slow so she doesn't just come crashing down and go right through that little cheap press board that I got here for a floor. As you can see, it is nestling in there. I think we're still good. I'm letting off slowly just in case if I got to go back up in a hurry. So then what I like to do is grab on something, give her a shake. Let's see here if I'll give her a shake so we don't want her to come off this thing. Oh, also, we better make sure this tire still turns. Oh yeah, golden. So I'll get the back jacked up and I'll bring you back. So here we are at the back. Got the jack right on the pumpkin on the rear end because that's dead center. Well, should be on most models. Let's see if we can jack this up without knocking it off the front axle stands. Don't worry about that cracking. That's just the wood breaking. Okay. Back end seems like she's up. Give her a little, I'm just giving her a little shake here just because, you know, I got the front lifted up there. So I just want to make sure that we're okay still. Okay, that tire on the passenger side rear just cleared. And the driver's side's been clear for a while. So that means this floor is definitely not level at all. Let's get this up here, like so. Maybe I might want to get that up just a touch higher, just so I can get, there we are. Just like that. And then I get this one. Just like that. Probably won't need that one as high. So now I'm just going to let her sit down nice and easy, like we did before. Get her setting them both here. Nice and easy. Just in case if I got to go back up quick. I got my hand on the hand jack handle here. There she goes. Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Whoa. She's starting to go sideways. Man. This one. Just give me a minute. So YouTube, as you can see, I put a block in here and some shims. Let's let it down now and see if she wants to go sideways on me. Did that just move sideways again? All right, before I let this down, I'll give this another little shake just to make sure we're good. I would say we got to be. Oh. Nope, got to go up a little bit. I'll get this up and we'll get the wheels off. Okay, YouTube, before we take these tires off, I just remembered we're going to check our wheel bearing play, tie rod play, wheel bearing, and ball joint, upper and lower. Test the lower ball joint. Needs sort of like this, a little bar, you know, fairly long to get underneath said tire. Get it right underneath the center. Pry up and down. Nothing. You'd feel like a clunk. You'd feel it, like you'd literally feel movement. You'd feel it, bump, 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 bump. You'd see the tire move weird. Pull in and out on the top part of the tire, putting your hand here and here. Pull in and out. Don't feel anything. Then also on the front part of the tire, I usually like to get my hand in there. See if I can get it here without blocking your view. Like so. And right here. And just nothing. So what I'm testing there is my tire rod ends and my drag link. Everything seems tight. If it wasn't tight, I'd be pretty upset because I just put brand new wheel bearings in ball joints in this last year this time. So I'll get these wheels off. I'll bring you in and show you what the brakes look like. Welcome back, YouTube. You can see, got the wheel off. Bring you in here, show you what we do. So what I'm looking for, you can see that this little steel piece here. Brakes are looking good. I'll just replace these last year on here. Got some grease there, so we know we're well greased. You can see the inner pad there and the 2 pistons for the caliper. There you go, and must grease come out of there. You can see these ball joints are new. So what I'm looking for here, guys and gals, is I'm looking for anything obvious. Like I'm looking for rips in my CV boot. Like making sure they look good. I had them out here not that long ago and they were good and tight, they felt. What I'm looking for is damage, any rubbing, anything that's touching something that it shouldn't be touching. I might have to, oops, sorry about that. I may have to, you know, because here's our bumper here, but in here, the tire can still get into this. And it's the same over here, but if the tire gets into this, the tire is definitely getting into this and destroying that, and no more windshield washer. And that goes for the front and the back. Yep. No, all I'm doing is just looking for little rubs and stuff. Right here, you can see that the sway bar is digging in there. That's the worst about these Jeeps. This whole front end, it goes back and forth. These coil spring front ends, they ride good, but they are alive. Also, too, guys and gals, what I got you here, sort of bouncing you around here, probably making everyone seasick. This right here is a brand new nut, brand new lock washer with Loctite on it. Torqued to factory specifications, backed off. Screw your torquing. After I torqued it again and backed off, more lock, cleaned everything up, took everything back off, cleaned it up, Loctite it again, backed off again. So now I just make it a routine of checking it at least once a week. Pretty good, isn't it? This is what I'm saying with rough country. This is their rough country drop arm for your drag link. I am not impressed with rough country at all. Not impressed at all. No. I showed you before in the other video. If you've seen that, check that one out. That was my little walk around video of this thing. So you can see the bushings and stuff that was on their arms and what have you is junk. So I'll get back into this and I'll show you some more. Okay, YouTube. So next we're going to check the differential fluid. So right here is your plug. You can see it's got like a little square in it. So that square is a 3/8 drive. So you take your 3/8 drive ratchet, or you can buy an actual special socket for these, which I have at work for checking plugs on vessels there. So that way you don't strip them out. Sometimes these are, especially here in Canada, Nova Scotia, they like to rust out pretty good. So what I'm going to look for here is make sure there's no water in this, which I haven't really wheeled it very much at all since I lifted it. Geez, I should fall out. But I always like to make sure, just in case. It probably run out, imagine. Usually if this is full, it should run. Yeah. What do we got here? What does she look like? Probably should be changed. Most definitely. Yeah, it smells like rear end oil. But we're not going to do that today. Then you just snug her up. Like so. Don't need to kill it. There you are. Now, we'll move on to the transfer case. So YouTube, I got to show you something. You see this plug here? This is one of the reasons why I can't change transfer case oil in this. It's stripped out previously before I got it, and someone's hit it with a hammer and what have you. Up here, this is the fill plug. I'm going to pull that out and find out if we got some fluid in there. So for this one, YouTube, we're going to need a 10 millimeter Allen socket. Put her onto your ratchet like so. Make sure we're in the left position. Always make sure these are cleaned out really good before you start one of these in there. I know this is good, and I've never seized it too, just to make sure. See, I don't kill it either with these, because I don't want to end up stripping this out. Now if this is full, this should pretty well run out as too. You can see it there, and get a couple drips here just to, yeah, it's dark. I'm probably going to end up sucking that out with one of the rose guns there or whatever, and we'll change her that way. Yeah, it takes synthetic transmission oil in here, so, and this is, I'm pretty sure, 242. We'll have to get in there for a closer look and see what it says. There, just like that. Like I didn't murder it. There. So let's see what we got for a transfer case here. There's the numbers there. I'm pretty sure it's a 242. Yeah. So we'll move on to the rear end now. That's a little different process because that's just got a rubber plug. That'll only use just a little flathead screwdriver. So YouTube, if you watched my other video, you'll know that this is a Dana 44A. So what they mean by Dana 44A, steel tubes to here. Once we get to here, this is aluminum. Both sides, this is an aluminum center section. And the outside tubes are steel. So for this, it's got just a little rubber plug. Most of the Chrysler products, that's what they have for their drain. So all I do is go up underneath here, just give her a little pry out. Yeah, there we go. This one was just changed not that long ago. And as you can see, she's good and clear, and it's full. She's running out. So that's perfect. Yep, still smells good too. So I'll get this little vape off here. There's the diff fluids. Now on to checking dry shafts. So YouTube, this is the rear dry shaft. Now I like to slide the transmission to neutral, just so I can give her a good spin around, and I give it a good pull back and forth, just to see. I did replace this rear one. You can see with the little grease knuckle into it, which is great. This front one I haven't replaced yet, but I don't feel any vibration. So I'll get on the front one and I'll show you that. So also YouTube, while you're in here and you're pulling on the transmission and what have you, you're looking for movement in your mounts, which I shouldn't have any movement in this. I just replaced this transmission / transfer case mount. See here, I had to do a little custom work. You know, it's bolted in good over there, but on that side over there, it's missing the bolt, and it broke off inside, and I tried drilling it and heating it and welding to it, and yeah, it didn't work. So let's move on here and check this front dry shaft. So right here, this is what they call a cartridge joint. This is on the front dry shaft going to your front diff. So you're going all the way down right to your front end. This usually spins pretty free. You can turn that, no problem. And what I'm looking for playing this, playing the U-joints on this cartridge joint. I don't know if we can get it to see here. If I can get it. Inside of here, there's like a little ball pivot. And they usually are known to go. On my old Dodge, there we go, you can actually see it right here. There's a little ball, little rubber seal on it. On my Dodge, you can grease these, but on this one, it's non-serviceable. Of course, gotta love new vehicles. So now it's on to the front end to make sure that we're tight and all the bolts are tight, because this is what we're going to do now. We're going to double check all the hardware for that lift. Also, YouTube's a good time Check your brake lines. Go into each wheel. All right. And then follow your fuel lines and your brake lines all the way down. You can see someone's joined into this one, which wasn't me. She's had some brake work done before. But just continue on down and make sure that they're all good. It's a lot of work. Like, it's just these little checks, like, save you so much headache out in the woods. Like, you don't want to be that guy or gal that's broke down, or you could have fixed it here. It's easier to fix it here than it is in the woods. A lot of times you don't have all the tools and parts with you, then you might end up having to run out of the woods, traveling around, wasting a bunch of time that you don't need to. It's easier to fix it at home. I know you can't unforeseen breakages, but you try to prevent them as much as you can. Oh, YouTube, if you ever, any of you guys and gals out there ever installed a lift kit, you'll know on the instructions it says to periodically check your hardware just to make sure it ain't loosening off. So that's what we're doing here today. What is going on with this? What is that? It's got so much slop in it. Huh. So what I'm checking here is this mounting bolt for this lower lift arm. I'm going to put my foot on that, say 22 mil, just to keep it from turning towards me. Yep. You can see the strong arm flexing. Yep. She's tight. And I'm not got all my weight on my foot. She's not moving that. So that's what I'll be doing next. So as soon as I'm done that, I'll bring you back in and we'll get ready to grease the front end. Alright, YouTube, we're back. The grease gun. I like to use red tacky in my grease gun on everything. Just give her a couple pumps until you hear that. Then you know you're good. And then go down here. Now, what looks of this stuff looks like it's going to run out of this one. Yep, we're running out. All down the back side of my. See? What a nice mess, huh? Yes, so always grease your front ends and stuff, and your universal joints, tie rod ends, drag links, even your suspension bushings if they have grease certs on them. Give them a little fighting chance when you're in the woods, because they're pivoting and moving and getting jolted from rocks and stumps, especially where I'm going to go. Stay tuned, because when we go this weekend, I will be filming some of it, not all of it, because I do want to have some fun myself, but certain spots where we go play and stuff, you got time where everyone can kind of gather around and I can set the camera up. I'll probably leave the camera on, maybe too, inside the Jeep, maybe. Me and buddy Brandon there, we're going to go off-roading. We're going to have fun. So now I'll move on to finishing greasing the rest of this front end, and I'll bring you back in and show you what the next thing I'm going to do. So YouTube, wheels are all back on. Next step is get underneath the hood. So what you're going to do is just your fundamentals. You're going to check your radiator, your oil, transmission, your brakes, power steering fluid, your windshield washer, air filter, belts, fan operation, hoses. You're basically doing an inspection to make sure that this thing is going to get you back out of the woods. You're going to go in, not have any problems, and come right back out. So I'll get you hooked up on a different tripod, and I'll bring you in a little closer and show you what I'm up to. So one important thing, windshield washer fluid. Getting closer to being cold, so I got the -40 stuff going in. I used is pretty well bone dry, so get this in here should be good for up to -30, 40. I hope I never see that temperature again. Of course, these things never ever take the full joke. There, now we know that's full. Pop the clips off this air cleaner here. So, these ones a little harder to get at. Like that. Like that. We got one down here underneath the vacuum hose. There we go. There. So what are we looking for? Well, we're going to see if we can see light through that. Use the... Yeah, I guess I can see some light through there. Yes. Perfect. Hey, thanks for helping me out, YouTube. I just used the light off the camera. Shine through it, that's what you want to do. That filter's pretty new. I keep up on this stuff, guys and gals. I can't say I don't, because I do. And I do this all the time. I'm not just doing this as a special video to show you. This is what I normally do. If I'm getting ready to go in the woods, especially we have a road rally every year, and I always double check everything, make sure. Oh, that's on. Come on. Come on. Why is that doing that? Yeah, a lot of times this thing don't want to fit the way it came off either. Can't tell you that one for certainty. Well, while I struggle with this, bring you back. So let's pull the oil stick out. Oh yeah, she's full. Yeah, it's getting dark. It's about 900 clicks away from service, but we'll deal with that when the time comes. Next, check this coolant out here. Let's get her shoved down on top of that. Good and full. Like so. Wipe my oil off there. Now, I'll get this set up here. We'll start her up and check the transmission oil. We're still good. She's kind of cool. She's not very hot, so she's right on the minimum. I'll shut her off. Next, we'll check her overflow just to make sure. Our coolant. Yep. And it's got a little sight thing on the side there, but you can see it's down on the minimum. She's not hot. Also, check brake fluid. Yep. It's dark, probably needs to be changed. Oh, wait a minute here. It's down a little bit, but that could be from the wear from the rear page that I'm going to do. So, and also, we'll check power steering oil, but she's good. Remember, I changed this power steering pump from one that ran off the hydraulic fan, which is no longer there, and I got an electric one geared up, which that is tied into my air conditioning, so that way when I turn the AC on, it cuts on. And also it's geared up to a thermostatic switch, so that way when it gets up to 185, it'll cut in. Also, check your belts. Make sure all your idlers and stuff are good. Pulleys are all tight. Like, you should take that belt off and just check this, make sure, which I've already have, so I don't need to do that again. And just do a basic look around under the hood. Like, look down the top of your shocks. That's where the shocks bolt in on these. Make sure your rubbers aren't all beat out. This one might be a little harder to see. Oh, there she is right there. Just make sure your rubbers aren't all beat out on that. Then just look for leaks. Coolant, gas. This just was sprayed a little bit of flute film because the fellow from before I hit it. And check around your water pump and stuff, see if there's any coolant leaks or anything like that. Check the lower red hose. Make sure, oh yeah, that one's got a spring in it so she won't collapse. So far, so good. So that continues my checks. Also, guys and gals, make sure you check the condition of your wiper blades. Just make sure they're not fraying and ripped and no good. And this would be the time. There's a video I have out, steel wool on the windshield and putting some Rain-X on it, which I'll do again, but I won't do that until the night before. So the only other thing that we would have to do now, probably before the night before or whatever, is just get our toe straps or snatch blocks or shackles, what have you. Also, make sure this sucker works. So you might need that. Make sure you have some recovery points, front, front and rear. That's important too when you're off-roading. Recovery points, nothing any worse. You go up somebody that's stuck. Hey, throw them a rope or a strap. I got no place to hook this. Great. I've done it myself and end up having to put a rope around my front leaf springs and then cut it off. So if you like what you saw today, think about leaving a like, maybe even a share. And if you really liked it, think about hitting that subscribe button. That would help me out great. And also ring that bell so that way you don't miss any of my new content. This video today was, a little basic, but that's what I normally do. When I walk around this vehicle, I'm making sure I'm inspecting this with a fine-tooth comb because I don't want to go in the woods and break down. It's the last thing I want. Also, little update. The car with the timing, I got it figured out. It's about 10.5, 11 degrees, floating right around there. She's not spark rattling no more, works great. Took it on a 200-kilometer drive, worked awesome. Great, love it. Even feels a little peppier, especially after that 200-kilometer run. She must need a little run. Wherever it is that you may turn wrenches, don't matter if it's in the tent, shop, your driveway, don't matter. Just remember, get off the couch, stay safe, and get wrenching. We'll see you next time.